So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us or watching this recording. My name is Becca. I'm one of the financial aid counselors here at Seattle University. Uh, we're excited that you're here with us today. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to finance your education, especially if you're going to come here and be a Red Hawk here at Seattle U. So, first, some of the things that we'll be going over today. So understanding costs, what they are, what goes into them, um, how to apply for financial aid, get a general understanding of your award offer letter, looking at how to cover some of your out-of-pocket costs, and kind of what a timeline looks like on that as well. So when you're looking at a school and you're looking at, everything that goes into your education, there's two things that you're going to want to consider: the direct costs and the indirect costs. So direct costs are things that the school bills directly to you. Your tuition, your fees, if you're living on campus housing. Um, Indirect costs are other expenses that you might incur, but that you're not paying directly to SU. You're going to need to buy your books. You're going to have transportation to and from campus or around the town as you're exploring Seattle, as well as maybe some of your personal expenses, all the things that you may need to pay for and still be a successful student. So, right now here at Seattle University for the current 2024-2025 year, these are our direct costs. They're also published on the Seattle U website. We do not have the direct costs available yet for next year. So if you're planning on starting here in fall of 2025, those will be coming soon. We'll post those on our website as soon as they're available. So full-time tuition for a student to attend all 3 quarters of the year, fall, winter, and spring, $55,620. We have a wellness fee that's charged each quarter, as well as a technology fee to all registered students. During your first quarter here at SU, you'll be responsible for a matriculation fee, getting you all set up and ready to go as a student here, as well as your new student orientation fee, making sure you get familiar with the campus and all the resources and everything that's available. We also consider in our direct costs the average housing cost. So that's $9,756 for the year. So from September into June for fall, winter, and spring. Food, which is our minimum on-campus meal plan, as well as if you're taking student loans, which we'll get into in a minute, we have our loan fees are considered in your direct costs as well. In addition to those direct costs, there's those indirect costs that we talked about. Things like your books and supplies. We assume you'll need money to go towards those. Transportation around campus, coming back, at the beginning of each year, during holiday breaks, as well as those personal expenses, all the things that don't really fall into one specific category, but you still want to be able to take care of as well. Now, I know everyone's seeing those numbers and can be a little concerning, and well, I pay over $70,000 a year for my education. The good news is Rudy Redhawk says no. When you're looking at your education, you're going to look at the net price. That's the amount that a student actually pays to attend an institution during a single academic year after you subtract the scholarships and the grants that go in and help to cover your balance. You're going to want to focus on that net price, which is lower than that sticker price, that $70,000. Your net price would include tuition, living expenses, mandatory fees, miscellaneous supplies, and transportation. Those are going to be the biggest markers on there. So now the next question is, how do you cover those net costs? A few different ways, lots of different pieces that will contribute to that as well. But the biggest one, if you're able to do so, is completing the FAFSA. So you and your parent or legal guardian will want to sit down to complete this application for financial aid. It's the free application for federal student aid. It's available now. The Department of Education did have that ready before December 1st. Here at SU, we do have a priority deadline of February 1st. Just to encourage everyone, get that information in You'll want to go online to studentaid.gov. And for the upcoming fall, you'll need to make sure to submit the 2025-2026 FAFSA. With that FAFSA, it checks your eligibility for financial aid for any federal resources, as well as if you're a Washington state resident, any state resources such as grants and scholarships that you may be eligible for. Well, so you may be thinking, how do we know if I'm eligible to file the FAFSA? So if you are seeking a degree, if you have a high school diploma or equivalency, or will by the time you start here at SU, if you're a U.S. citizen, a U.S. national, or an eligible non-citizen, such as a permanent resident, approved refugee status, those students are all encouraged to submit that 2025-2026 FAFSA. That helps us determine not only the federal loans you're eligible for, federal grants you're eligible for, as well as additional need-based aid that we may be able to offer you here at SU. But if you're not eligible to file the FAFSA, don't worry. It looks like we've got a few people joining us as well. So we will hop back through all of the information. Please continue to join us. But we will go back through the information when we get to the end here as well. We were just talking about the FAFSA being available to U.S. citizens, nationals, and approved non-citizens. But if you're not eligible for the FAFSA, don't worry. If you're a Washington state resident, you're also you can complete the WASFA in its place. The WASFA is the Washington Application for State Financial Aid, and helps both us and the state of Washington determine what state level grants you may be eligible for. It's accepted at schools across the state of Washington and follows the same dates as the FAFSA. It's been available since December 1st, and SU does have a priority deadline of February 1st. You can complete that with the Washington Student Achievement Council. Their website is wsac.wa.gov. All of this information is available on our website as well, including links to the WASFA and the WASAC website. And this will check your eligibility for financial aid from Washington state resources specifically. So as we're talking about financial aid, what goes into that? So we have things such as scholarships. So those are merit, skill, or financially need-based, depending on which awards they are. Those can come directly from your university here at SU, or they could come from an external organization, a community group you're involved with, an employer that may have, educational scholarships available for you. Scholarships are the money that you do not have to repay. Very similar to that is grants. These can be federal, state, or institutional resources. Generally, these are based on financial need. So it's important that you fill out that FAFSA or your WASFA early so that schools can get that information, take a look at those. And just like scholarships, grants do not require repayment. Things such as the federal Pell Grant, if you're a Washington state resident, the Washington College Grant, or Washington College Bound Funding. You may also have work study. Work study is your opportunity to work part-time on campus or an approved community organization, and you get paid as you earn. You get it just like a paycheck. There is no guarantee of work or wages if you are offered work study. But here at Seattle University, currently pay begins at minimum wage. The city of Seattle right now is $19.97, but starting on January 1st, that will go up to $20.76. So if the scholarships, grants, work study, everything that you receive isn't enough to pay everything, you do still have the option of educational loans. Loans are money that you do have to pay back, so they will require repayment. Few different options that may be open, either the federal loans that you would be eligible for through the FAFSA, or private loans through working with a bank or a credit union. And educational loans, depending on what type they are, can be available for parents as well as directly for students. So once we have all of that information, we have that little picture of you, we would put that together into a financial aid offer. Your offer letter is going to include any of the financial aid that you're eligible for from your institution here at SU, from the state, as well as federal resources. This won't include the outside scholarships, that community group that you've reached out to and worked with, that place of worship that you've attended that's offering you financial support. Those will not be included on there, but they definitely help towards covering part of your education. You'll have the option, and we'll put in your financial aid portal once you're accepted here at SU, the option to view that financial aid offer letter. If you're offered loans, you'll have the option to decline or reduce those, as well as a financial aid checklist with other requirements, other information that you may have. Also, it's going to have all of our contact information so you know how to reach out to us if you just need a refresher on some of the things that we've touched on today. One of the important things here at Seattle U, we have what we call our gift aid guarantee. So all of your institutional aid. So if you're admitted to Seattle U with a scholarship, if you get a need-based Red Hawk grant from us upon receipt of your FAFSA, all of that amount is guaranteed after your first year, regardless of changes to your FAFSA, so long as you're maintaining satisfactory academic progress. You're keeping your GPA up, you're successfully completing your courses, and you're being an overall successful student. As we touched on, grants, scholarships, work study may not help to cover all of those resources, may not cover all your remaining costs. So what options do we have to do that? We refer to those as your out-of-pocket costs. Things that you can look at, looking at your family resources. If you're in a position to pay each quarter, you would be able to do that. There's no issue there. If you're able to pay each quarter, but you just need a little more time or you need things broken up a little, we do offer payment plans, break the cost of a quarter over a couple of months, help to pay off the balance during that term so that you can register and be successful and stay on top of your studies for the next term. We've already kind of touched on those outside scholarships. We do include resources on our website as well in looking for those. If you are a dependent student, you may also have the option of your parents considering taking a Parent Plus loan. This is another federal loan, but it's your parents' loan in their name that they would be able to pay back. And then there's also the option of the private educational loan, going to a bank or a credit union that you have a relationship with. Private educational loans can be in a student's name or a parent's name. Students, if you have a limited credit history, you may need parent support as a cosigner, just to make sure we can get everything covered for you. As I said, we do have resources included on our website as well. All of these are available on there. If you just go to seattleu.edu, and in that Google search bar at the top, just search private outside scholarships, you'll get a lot of these resources. Reaching out to collegeboard.com. finaid.org, the WASH board. If you're a Washington state resident, the state of Washington does keep a listing of scholarships that can be available to students and kind of keep them together. Here at SU, we also use a system called Scholarship Universe. Once you've been admitted to SU and you have your seattleu.edu email address, you'll be able to log in and match on there to potential outside scholarship opportunities that have been vetted, as well as once opportunities come up here at Seattle U, those will be matched on there as well. You can also use Google search. Take a look there. Be aware, keep in mind that not all the resources that you'll find publicly may be in your best interest. So just use your brain. Most of these outside scholarship opportunities start to happen between October and April in preparation for the upcoming year. So while we do encourage everyone to submit the FAFSA, we do understand that some students may have special or unusual circumstances that prevent them from being able to complete everything. Contact your financial aid office directly. about either special or unique circumstances that you may be experiencing that would prevent you from being successful in completing the FAFSA. Special circumstances generally is that you've been able to submit the FAFSA, but something's changed with your family's situation since their 2023 taxes were filed. Again, the 2025-2026 FAFSA uses the information from your 2023 tax return. So if there's been a change to your family's income or assets, a change in employment status, high medical or dental expenses that your family's responsible for out of pocket, or if you have siblings that are in college, those are all special circumstances that our office would love to hear from you once you see your initial financial aid offer. Unusual circumstances tend to be reflected on things that aren't reflecting appropriately on the FAFSA. If you are going through a situation with human trafficking, or you have a refugee or asylee status approved, those are all definitely things to reach out to your financial aid office about. If you have a situation where you don't have parental support due to abandonment or estrangement, definitely reach out. If you're not sure if any of those actually apply to you, definitely reach out and ask your financial aid counselor. They'll be able to talk with you in more detail, get more of that information as well. And again, all of our contact information here in Student Financial Services, we're glad to answer your questions by phone, by email, or if you happen to be in the neighborhood, come by our office. We're on the second floor of Vi Hilbert Hall, so located on the corner of 12th and Madison. So if you all have any questions, feel free to go ahead and throw those into our chat here. We do have one. When you hear from FAFSA, what you're awarded and what you're receiving from SU, and what does that look like? So you won't hear anything directly from FAFSA about what you're going to get at each individual school. What you will be notified of is once the FAFSA has been submitted, sent to the school, that they have that they're reviewing it, that they have that information. Here at Seattle U, we don't actually receive your FAFSA in whole until you've been admitted to the institution. Once you do, it does take a little time to get everything together. If you applied to Seattle University as an early action student, we will have those out to you by the end of January. If you're applying to Seattle U during our regular decision, those generally tend to come out in mid-March to help you to make that decision by May 1st. So it looks like we did get another question as well. It looks like this is a personal situation for a student whose parents live overseas. This is definitely a situation where once you've been admitted to SU, reach out to our office. The only reason I say wait till you've been admitted is because we do need to kind of see your information, see what's out there, and kind of best advise you there. You are considered a dependent student until you reach the age of 24. If you join the military, you have your own dependents. Those would all be situations where you may be considered an independent student, but definitely reach out and contact our office directly. Otherwise, we are required to consider your parents' financial information unless you fall under one of those special circumstances. Looks like we've got another question here. If you, as a student, have signed your FAFSA and your parents are looking to sign, you would only have one parent sign. Correct. So if your parents filed their taxes for the 2023 calendar year as married filing jointly, then yes, the FAFSA will only ask you to have one of them sign and have one of them create an FSA ID. If your parents are married filing separately, or they are not married, but living together, then both of your parents would have to be invited to sign the FAFSA because we would need both of their separate tax return information to put together a full picture of your family for the 2023 year. Right. Well, thank you all so much for attending. Please enjoy the rest of your days. And again, feel free to reach out to our office if you have any additional questions.